Hi, it's Joy
And Tim.
with your AI Route to Go.
Yay.
And we are on episode number 2. And this podcast is, well, you tell them.
This podcast is for small businesses who are looking at building their business and with a little bit of AI. So last week, what we talked about cohorts. So Joy, just remind me again, what's a cohort? And actually, we talked about organic marketing last week. That's okay. We're going to keep going. We talked about organic marketing last week.
Yes, we did.
And tell me a little bit about organic marketing.
Well, as many of you know, I read Gary Vee's new book called Day Trading Attention. And he is, if you know him at all, is about organic content and the importance of it, of laying the foundation kind of before you do anything else. So we defined what organic content was, which is any content you create for an audience. It's not a paid ad. It's not boosting anything. It's just content that you create by yourself for your potential customers.
So, Joy, if I was going to do organic marketing, he said, after already giving up what we're going to talk about this week, what is a way to make that organic marketing work better with AI?
Well, one of the things we're going to do on this podcast is kind of break down Gary Vee's book because he's kind of the godfather or the guru of social media. What's great about our podcast is we're going to infuse AI into his concepts. So one of the first concepts he talks about is developing cohorts. And cohorts are just different sectors of your client base. So let's say you're a mortgage broker. You could do organic content, just about general things about the mortgage industry. Or you could create a cohort. And a cohort might be a first-time home buyer. A cohort might be a woman who's getting divorced and they need to sell a house and she needs to buy another house. A cohort might be a veteran that can take advantage of mortgage programs that are available when buying a home. All these are different cohorts within the mortgage industry that should have different organic content for the posting.
Okay, so let's say I'm a realtor.
Okay.
And I have this huge database. So what are some of the steps you can use with AI to make this huge database into those seemingly smaller cohorts?
Well, there's a couple things you can do. Good question. You can upload your database into AI and analyze it. And that is a super powerful use of AI. We upload a lot of files and just ask questions. So if you have a huge email list, you can upload it into AI and start asking, when was the last transaction of this client? What was their transaction? Pull out the veterans, pull out the first-time home buyers, pull out people who are getting ready to retire. I mean, there's all kinds of things you can ask ChatGPT or Claude to segment your audience.
Okay, so after I have it down into smaller cohorts, or you just use the word segment, how then can I use AI to maybe market to them?
So, great idea to start with, breaking down your audience. Then I would pick an audience and say, let's say veterans. I would ask ChatGPT, what are the topics I should cover in my content for a veteran that is moving to Colorado Springs? And it'll give you an outline. That's how I would start.
Oh, that's cool. Okay. So you got your outline, you got maybe some content. So what else can AI do to help you with the next step?
Well, then the next step is from the outline, pick a couple of the topics. So be specific. Specificity is the key to success with AI. So let's say you asked for 10 topics you should cover to market to veterans that need to get a mortgage. pick 2 or 3 of those from the outline and start developing it. The power is in the follow-up. So let's say for the veteran example, you like 3 different aspects of it. Then you take the first one and you say, please create 20 posts for me on Instagram that's engaging, that's fun, include emojis and hashtags, and look at those posts and see what you like.
And I think what you had something there that everybody worries about with AI is that you lose the personal touch with it.
Well, and that's a huge criticism we hear a lot, but the truth or the reality is my chat GPT sounds like me. And the reason why it sounds like me, well, there's a couple reasons. The first reason is I'm on it so much. Literally, I am on it so much that it knows my manner of communication. The second reason is it has a memory function. So lately, I ask ChatGPT, please refer to all of our previous conversations, and then I make the prompt. So I've had hundreds of conversations with ChatGPT. So it's scanning through those conversations so it can become me in my response. That function for me was a game changer because it's like having a library of all the conversations you've ever had. If you hire somebody, they're not going to remember every conversation that you have. Trust me, I'm not that interesting. But ChatGPT does. So you're pulling from all the previous conversations, and then you're pulling from the world saying, act as a social media content expert. So you get the benefit of the past and you get the benefit of the world to get your content created. And that's who gets that. So it doesn't sound robotic. It sounds like you, and you're leveraging what everybody else knows.
The other thing I love about ChatGPT is you can go back and it keeps a bunch of conversations ad nauseum. And you can go back and say, I had a really good day on April 3rd. I'm going to go back to that conversation and get some ideas because I use that a lot when I get ideas or for ideas for that. So, yeah.
And one of the things that I use a lot is I don't want to repeat some of the content I've already created because I create so much, I don't remember all of it. So for a specific client, I'll say, go back to the conversation on XYZ, bring it forward, and then create me new content that I already haven't addressed, which how huge is that?
I love that too.
And we're talking about seconds. I mean, the ability to create so much original content in such a short amount of time with just a few steps is why we love what we do.
It's huge. It's huge. And we talked about it a lot, but it used to take us, days to create content.
Yeah.
And now it takes us, hours and sometimes even minutes. And one thing to remember, though, for you folks that you're going to use ChatGPT, is a lot of our functionality in it is there's a subscription, and it's just $20 a month. But you look at it, and that's chump change.
Yeah.
That's chump change to make things better.
Well, and the time that you save. I mean, you talk about productivity. I think about when I was creating content a couple years ago, I worked every single day. Now, not all day, not poor joy. I don't mean it like that. I mean, like Saturdays, I worked several hours to create the content because I was quiet and the phone wasn't ringing for a whole bunch of other reasons. Now I don't have to work every Saturday. I might work one Saturday a month. The level of productivity, once you become proficient with this tool, is a game changer.
What's huge.
Yeah. Well, another thing we wanted to do on this podcast is talk about what's new, what's hot, what's in the news. And Tim, your AI Brew to Go reporter, is on the scene.
And today's exciting news to me. And again, we're going to go to ChatGPT and Cloud are both what are called large language models. So you're going to hear the term LLMs. And it's because that's where they're kind of like repositories for ideas and information. So this week, ChatGPT, or excuse me, Claude came out with a new version, and they do something cool. They divide their in levels essentially into a sonnet, an opus, and a haiku. And haiku is the lowest level, and that's the stuff. If you just want a quick question, you ask haiku. And then opus is the next level, and it goes a little deeper. But sonnet now, and I'm not saying sonic, sonnet is the highest level, and they just released that. And the cool part about this is that it is almost outperforming a lot of what ChatGPT does. Now, I love both. Joy is a little more ChatGPT end. I'm a little more Claude end, and it's a good mixture. It's like that debate: do you like Coke? Do you like Pepsi? Coke's a little more ChatGPT's as I view it as my version of Coca-Cola because it's a little more crisp. It's got a little edge to it, and I like that. Claude's a little more like Pepsi. It's a little sweeter. Can go down a little smoother, and that's cool too. And they both have their place in making content and making your business better. So check it out. Again, there's a little subscription to it. Very cheap though. Again, we're talking about the time it'll save you is just astronomical. So I think that's a great way to end it.
Well, I do want to say next week we're going to talk about platforms and how you define or determine what platform you should be on. Now, you should be on multiple platforms, but you can't eat the whole apple. You have to take one bite at a time. So next week we're going to talk about platforms. But thanks so much for joining us.
Stay cool. We'll see you next week.